Are our accents a problem? I got Carlos to really slow down, and I mean dramatically slow down. Watch what happens when he does. A lot of the times it's easy to understand something cerebrally, but it's even easier to understand something when we see it happen in the moment. This particular video is one of my students, and his name is Carlos. And Carlos has a fairly strong accent. And I want to bust a myth for all of you, because my students tend to ask me the question, Vinh, are our accents a problem? And the answer is always no. Your accent is not a problem. What's a problem is your articulation and your pronunciation. Now, rate of speech actually comes into play here as well, because people who tend to have an accent, if you speak quickly, then you become even harder to understand. And I want to play you an example here of Carlos, and Carlos speaks with a fairly fast rate of speech. And have a look here. I'll play the video and let's play it for about a good 30 seconds or so. 2, it's yours.
The stars had finally aligned for me. Life was treating me well. I was on a roll. On the personal side, I had got married 2 years ago to my 10 plus years fiancé. We're very happily married. We've already had our first child, a boy called Martin, which was 1 year and some months old. He had just started to walk, so we were both following up around the house, following him up. I had never been more fit than at that time.
And you see what happens there is when Carlos speaks really quickly, and you combine that with his accent, and you also combine that with poor articulation and pronunciation, then all of a sudden it becomes harder to understand him. So what I will say is, if you've got an accent and you are worried that other people can't understand you clearly because of your accent, well, remember, you can fix it with better articulation, and you can also fix it with better pronunciation. And then on top of that, that's relevant to this particular lesson, you want to fix it by slowing your rate of speech down. And by slowing down, that's going to allow you to come across with more clarity. Now, I'm going to show you an example right towards the end when I got Carlos to really slow down, and I mean dramatically slow down. Watch what happens when he does, even with the accent. And even though we haven't fixed his articulation or pronunciation at this point, he still comes across with more clarity. So I want you to check this out.
The stars had aligned for me. Life was on a roll. I was on a roll. Everything was going well for me.
It's so good. Sorry, I'm making noises. Sorry, this is fantastic. It's like just a Sorry.
That means great, right? That means great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Can we give him a big round of applause? Do you see what I mean? That, seriously.
Thank you.
You know, it's funny because that simple lesson there transformed the way Carlos communicates completely.